There's a problem that probably you don't think that much about whenever you're trying to start a web project. You want to create an app, put it online, and you already have some steps that probably go something like this. First is deciding what your stack will be. Let's assume we're choosing Bun, React, Postgres, and Redis, which are pretty standard, and I want to set up this locally. So here we start with one problem, and it's the time that it takes to get started. So for example, to initialize a project with Bun, I need to set up a folder, I need to run Bun init, or maybe I use npm and I start my project like that. For my front end using React, I have to do the same. And then if I want to run my databases locally, I will need something like Docker. I can use the Docker images for Postgres and then for Redis as well. That saves me some time, but I still need to do all these steps to get everything started. Next comes collaboration. How do I collaborate with others? Well, you probably use something like GitHub. I use GitHub. So I need to create a repository, put all my files in there, and sure, now we can collaborate with others. But when I want to have this app online, there comes another step that is annoying, which is creating servers and managing those servers. So to create a server, you will probably find an interface similar to this one, where you have to choose the size of the machine, pretty standard stuff. Where is the region? That's not a problem, but the problem comes after that machine is created. That is, you need to configure it. You need to set up SSL certificates, you need to set up the domains. Work that is very manual will require you to do something like get into the machine through SSH. And these are steps that take lots of time to get started, to get your application online. So this problem often enough that led us to build a solution called Diploi. We're really proud of this product. Just go and sign in. You can use a GitHub account. Once you sign in, you will be welcomed by this stack builder, where you can choose the components that will be part of your application. In our case was Bun and React, so I'm choosing those. Also Postgres with Redis for our databases. And the next step is to add a repository that will be created with our application. And once I'm ready, I click Launch Stack, and this will do magic, since it will create not only our repository and the folder structure for our application, but it will also launch a server. And in the background, we use Kubernetes and Docker to host every part of the application as pods, all within the same machine. In the options, you can configure the endpoints that you use. So we auto-generate them for you, but if you want to customize that domain, you can do it, or you can add a custom domain. To configure the environment variables, you can access them and you can see the values that are currently just passing the configuration of the database, but you can also add your own values. So at this point, our server must be almost ready, loading the pods. So let's give it a few seconds. Now it's ready. So we have Bun, React, Postgres, Redis all working, and I can access the live preview for Bun. So here, let's zoom in, and now let's open the React preview. So Bun and React are live. Now, one feature I haven't talked about is that we also have the capabilities to do remote development in Diploi. So you don't need to run anything locally. You can use our browser IDE and code straight in the browser. So in this case, I'm just going to make a change to React. Let's change the homepage that we have at the moment. Just add an H1. Let's put this has changed. These changes that I make here go live immediately in the preview that I just showed. So if I do the same for bun, it's the same story. Just going to the index file, let's change from bun to a different message, just new content. Now both parts of our application, bun and React, have been updated. Now I'm just going to close these two tabs. If you prefer to do remote development from your local VS Code or cursor, you can do it. All you need is an SSH key, and then you will be able to use the remote development environment from your local machine. If you prefer to work locally, that's also completely fine, since when you create a repository using Diploi, one of the things that is generated to the repository is a GitHub action that will be in charge of creating a new build, a new Docker build for your application. So when this action starts, nothing will change to your deployed application, so that stays the same. But until the action is finished and it is successful, once it is successful, it will start updating your deployed version of the app. And this happens seamlessly, so your users wouldn't notice that there is a change in the application, since it first waits until the action is successful. So far we have talked about developing the app, how to create the project, but we haven't talked about how to create new deployments for the same project. So right now we have a development environment. Let's create now a staging environment. It is super easy. You just select the stage, staging. I'm going to choose a size, since it's not meant for a lot of users. It's only for testing. Then I choose the staging branch in my repository. I can configure the environment variables if I need to. So I'm ready, and now my new server for the staging stage is ready. Now I will create one for production. Choose a bigger machine. I choose the production branch, and that's it. That's all we need to do in order to create a new deployment. I didn't have to do any configuration to the servers beyond just choosing what is the size that the server will have. One more thing I can do in my dashboard, if I want to have visibility right when I log in to certain deployments, I can pin them, and then they will show at the top of my project. And when I go to the homepage of my dashboard, I will see those two projects that I just pinned, those two deployments that I just pinned at the top. From here I can shut them down, I can start them again, and I can see the endpoints as well for my deployments. So that is Diploi. Now you know, if you want to try it, you don't need any account. You can start a trial right from the homepage. Just choose the stack that you want to try out, and that's it. You're ready to go. If you have any questions, you can contact us on Discord. The link will be in the description, or by email at hello@diploi.com. So that's it. See you.